Hey there, multitasking super parents. Do you ever feel like you're spinning plates while riding a unicycle across hot coals, also trying to set up the smoke alarm at the same time? Well, stay tuned for today's episode as we're diving headfirst into the seemingly impossible task of work life balance and uncovering the tips and skills to actually make this crazy concept a reality for you. We're talking boundaries that actually stick, time management tricks that don't involve a time machine or Hermione's time turner, and self care tips that won't leave you feeling guilty or broke. So grab your favourite beverage, get comfortable, and get ready to master the art of balancing work, family, and self care, all while keeping your sanity intact. You won't want to miss this. Hi there, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Conscious Connection Show, where we believe that becoming the best version of ourselves is the ultimate gift that we can give to the next generation. I am your host and your friendly neighborhood self help guru, Helen. I am a mother, a special needs educator, a psychology student, a small business owner, a writer. Yes, I wear a lot of hats, and every one of them helps me provide the knowledge and the skills to help me with my mission in life, which is to make the world a better place for the next generation, one healed soul at a time. So, without further fluff and stuff, let's dive right into the wonderful world of self development through becoming your ultimate conscious self. So, what's this mythical fairy tale thing we're talking about today called work life balance? Well, as crazy as it seems for some, it's not an impossible task. Difficult? Yes. A practice skill? Absolutely. But by the end of this episode, you will have some seriously beneficial tools in your super parent speedo belt to start making your life more balanced and less stressful. So let's start with the basics. When people think of having balance in their life, the very word itself is seriously misleading because having a healthy work life balance isn't about perfect symmetry. It's about finding a rhythm that keeps your career and your personal life from toppling over. Think of it like juggling flaming torches while riding a roller coaster. Not easy, but you can do it. Surely, can't you? And it's important to aim for achieving this kind of balance in your life because significant research has shown maintaining a healthy work life balance is really important for an individual's levels of life satisfaction. Additionally, having an imbalance in your life between work, family, and self has been shown to be a leading contributing factor to burnout, where you get so fried you could be a potato chip. We're talking chronic fatigue, stress, mental health struggles, and you decrease in job performance and interest. And it's not just about your job either. It's about keeping your family life from becoming a never ending episode of Survivor. Then, of course, there's that sneaky little gremlin guilt skulking and jeering in the background every time you take a moment for yourself, when you miss a family event or take time away from work. When we're busy and there's a lot of work to do, so we're missing out on the stuff with the kids, their school events, hanging out on the weekends, or whatever it is, those guilt gremlins are always there lurking in the background. If you want to ask for time off for work or holidays, for holidays or family things, there's always that feeling that you're letting the team down, or in some cases, it's just frowned upon to take time off for anything other than a severed limb or a heart transplant operation. It's that nagging feeling that you're never doing enough, and no matter how hard you try, it's like you're just always falling short. Guilt is a massive productivity killer. It makes you feel like you're constantly on the back foot, scrambling to catch up at all times. But here's the truth. The majority of the thoughts and perceptions you hold around the things that are making you feel guilty, they're actually those cognitive distortions we talked about in episode 3. The reality is, you're doing the best that you can, and taking care of yourself and having a balance between work and personal life is not just okay, it is necessary. When you're overburdened and stressed, it's hard to be present at work or at home, let alone show up for yourself as well. So the best thing you can do is just banish that guilt, okay? Go check out episode 3 right after this one if you haven't already, so you can get good with combating those negative thoughts and recognizing cognitive distortions that cause guilt and shame, and embrace the fact that balancing work and life, it's a juggling act, and sometimes it's okay to drop a ball or two here and there, as long as you're not leaning too far to one side of the seesaw for too long. And Think of it like this: self-care isn't a luxury. It is the secret sauce that keeps you from burning out. It's drinking the milk to stop the burn from an overdose of chili, or having the preemptive power to adjust the recipe to prevent an overdose of chili in your soup. Okay, develop a good routine to avoid the burnout in the first place. And I'm going to share some tactics on how you can do that. But first, take note. Next time guilt rears its ugly head, chop the beast down by reminding yourself that taking care of your own needs isn't selfish, and you're actually setting a better example and becoming more effective in all areas of your life. And if you're struggling a bit, that's okay too, because let's face it, no one is perfect, and that is perfectly okay. Now, the first tactic we're going to talk about in creating a better work life balance is a tricky one for a lot of us. Let's talk boundaries. No, not the kind where you draw a line down the middle of the room, you tell everyone stay on their side of the line, while you chill with your headphones on listening to this podcast, eating a tasty snack. Although that does sound really good too, and I don't not recommend doing that. But what I'm really talking about is the tricky kind of boundaries, and that's the ability to set clear boundaries between work and home life. It's like putting up a do not disturb sign on your sanity. So, first, you need to start by identifying what your boundaries are. Is work creeping into your family time? Are you checking your emails while you're making dinner? If you're a home business owner and you are replying to customers and tending to business related matters at all hours of the night, guilty. It is important that you identify these issues, create those boundaries, and communicate them to yourself and to your family. The same goes for the opposite too. Your family needs to know that office hours don't mean you're available for every little interruption. And while it's important to take note that every situation will look different, for example, if you're a parent with a very young child who needs a lot more attention and you can't just ignore them all day while you tend to your work duties, if your job is home based, but you can identify chunks of time that are related for work and family related and just try your best to stick to them. Notice I said try your best, not rigidly stick to it at all times with no flexibility, okay? We're super parents, but we're not superhuman, even if we sometimes make it look like we are with all our awesome skills. And when it comes to setting these boundaries, don't be afraid to be a little firm. If you work from home, then you need to separate work time to be able to focus on your tasks at hand. So when you communicate your needs to your family, just be sure to let them know that it's important for you to have these boundaries in order to create this work life balance, as it's an essential part of taking care of your own mental health needs. If you can't take care of your own needs and well being, then it makes it more difficult for you to show up as your best self for your family. So, by respecting your needs and allowing you to work on your own time, in turn, it benefits them as well. Same goes if your boss calls or emails you at 8 o'clock at night. It's okay to just ignore that call or that email altogether, unless you specifically have a job that would normally have your boss calling at that hour because you're a night shift worker and they're trying to fill a last minute shift, or you're a first responder or something like that. I don't know. But phone calls aside, definitely leave emails until the next morning to reply to if they come after a reasonable and respectful time. And for me, that would be like dinner time because you're cooking, eating, putting your kids to bed, doing your night routine. And then by that time, it's time for a moment of chill and planning for the next day and my own night routine, then off to bed. Whatever it looks like for you. And even if you do respond sometimes when the occasion calls for it, make sure it's not a habit to make night times a free for all for work emails and calls. Okay? Now, the next strategy for maintaining a healthy work life balance, and probably the most, no, definitely the most crucial one, is time management. And here we go, with the eyes rolling and the hands in the air, with the objections like, Halsey, where do I even start to find the time to manage my time? Right? It's like, how on earth do you fit like a week's worth of stuff into one afternoon? Well, you use my SMART planning technique to organise your life, of course. Now, if you've been watching the episode so far, you will have seen that in episode 2, I unpack this incredible system that I developed for keeping on top of all the things that I need to do while still making time for my own life, like self-care and things that I want to do. I won't go into depth here because That episode goes into it in great detail, so I definitely recommend checking it out. I'll link it in the show notes with the episode on cognitive distortions, so you can jump straight over and watch them after this. But basically, smart planning, not to be confused with smart goals, is planning that is sectioned, manageable and attainable, rewarding, and time blocked. In a nutshell, you're sectioning your tasks into priority levels, which could be the four quadrants method of important and urgent, important but not urgent but important, or not important or urgent. But as I tend to do, which is a bit more simple, for each day or week, tasks are either high priority, medium priority, or low priority. Or for larger scale tasks and goal plans, tasks are sectioned into biggest impact, consistent execution, and micro and medium tasks. I also ensure my plan is manageable and attainable by getting into the habit of timing tasks to make sure I'm not biting off more than I can chew. And over time, I've gotten really good at not putting too much on my to do list, my plate all at once, and planning these tasks in an effective manner. I also make tasks and work rewarding by incorporating fun into my routines and cultivating a positive mindset around my work and my home tasks. And I use time blocking to get a better focus on what needs to be done and concentrating only on the task at hand in that time frame. Time blocking is honestly your new best friend. When you dedicate chunks of your day to specific tasks, you can seriously channel your inner superhero and tackle one thing at a time. If only we had superpowers to make time slow down or clone ourselves, so right? That's maybe like the one thing that will make this smart planning system even better. And yeah, don't forget to delegate. Your kids are not just adorable little humans, they're also future chore experts. Get them involved. And let's not pretend they're too young to help with setting the table or picking up toys. In fact, whatever a kid can do that is developmentally appropriate, they absolutely should do, because it is so important for their cognitive development, self efficacy, and confidence. It is a mistake to think that you should do more for your kids than they can do for themselves, because while it seems easy in the short term and you think you're helping, you're actually setting yourself up for stress in the long run as they get older and are not equipped to help with everyday tasks and do for themselves. Plus, it's super detrimental to their own mental health and well being, because taking away the opportunity to learn to look after themselves and the home creates kids who lack confidence and much needed life skills. Trust me, I know I did this, and for the last year and a half, I've worked really hard with my kids, getting them into better routines and developing skills they should have been learning a long time ago. And all because I thought I was making life easier for them and me when they were younger, and it was just actually making it hard. Now, of course, little kids, you will still be doing a lot of things for them, but it's really important as a parent to do some research and do some digging into, what you should be expecting of your kids and what you can get them to help with at what age is developmentally appropriate. So yeah, I will go into that on another episode. Like, we will deep dive on that, working with kids, and child development, all that. That's my jam. It's my area of expertise professionally, and I have 3 of my own kids who I have supported to become amazing human beings, and even more so in the last year and a half, working on these extra skills and routines that they've just blossomed and skyrocketed in awesomeness. But yeah, we'll get into that on another episode. Now, let's bounce on over to the next work life balance tactic and talk about maybe the biggest thing that busy parents struggle with the most. We're talking a little bit of treat yourself time, a bit of the old relax and unwind time. The old self care thing we often try to do, but end up mistaking it for slacking off, and so we guilt rest in a pit of despair instead. Here's the thing about self care though. Remember what I said? It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. You've heard about the oxygen mask on the plane thing, right? You put yours on before helping others. It's not just a witty and thought provoking meme on Facebook, guys. It is absolutely essential that you take care of yourself and your own well being in order to show up as your best version for your family and for your work. That is right. You need to take care of yourself. Even if you're tempted to skip it because you see that there's a big pile of laundry that's slowly becoming so large it might as well get a pinpoint on Google Maps as a good place for mountain climbers to day trip to. Don't be tempted to skip the self care, okay? Take time for you. Let's break this down a little. We'll start with physical self care. A little exercise goes a long way, and yet we don't all have the capacity or the desire to do big workouts every day or a few times a week or ever. But seriously, every person is different, and if you're not one to go all out on a fitness routine, even if you just do 5 to 10 minutes in the morning stretching, dancing, or whatever while your kids climb on you like a jumble gin, it counts. Plus, the kids like extra weights for your workout anyway, so just roll with it. Or while you're at your desk or in the kitchen, keep your feet and legs moving. Take a 5-minute break every hour or so just to do a quick few jumping jacks, stretch, do a little dance, or whatever it is. If you can do these little bits throughout the day and equate to 20 to 30 minutes of light exercise like throughout the whole day, this will significantly improve your overall well-being. I do this kind of stuff all the time, and that's what works for me. Sometimes I do other exercise, and I love to skate as well as go for hikes and climb mountains with my family or whatever. But mostly I just try to move in small bouts, and hey, that is better than nothing. Now, emotional self care is just as important as physical self care because, like George Engel, the renowned psychiatrist who developed the biopsychosocial model of well being, said, what affects the body will affect the mind, and what affects the mind will affect the body. It's all connected, okay? Taking care of your mental health is so important. And once again, I have great information on how to do this in episode 3, which is about combating negative thoughts and cognitive distortions. And also, finding joy in the little things throughout your day helps so much. Maybe it's just that you had an uninterrupted hot shower, the kids didn't come knocking on the door, or your coffee was extra good, or you got all the green lights on the way to work and your favorite coworker showed up with a big smile and some good news, or whatever it is. Focusing on the positives is so important because positive emotions release dopamine and serotonin into your body, which have healing benefits for you, whereas opposingly focusing on negative emotions and negative things releases cortisol. And cortisol, the stress hormone, has been shown to be really damaging for your physical well-being because researchers found that like 90% of illnesses are stress related. And something else I found out recently, cortisol is actually the fat storing hormone in your body. So if you're someone who has struggled with weight loss, or you do the diets and the exercise and nothing seems to work, or you lose a bit of weight and then you put it back on, maybe have a think about where your mental health is at. Are you under a lot of stress? If you are, this is significantly impacting your physical well-being. Remember, what affects the mind affects the body, what affects the body affects the mind, and whatever, okay? But really, just looking after your mental health is really, really important. I can't stress that enough. And then the next factor in self-care is your social self-care. Don't forget to connect with friends and family as often as you can. They're not just for Facebook updates, okay? They're real people in real life, remember? And having social connections and strong family ties is super important for your overall well-being. And while this is often neglected in favor of all those other things we need to do with our busy lives, it's something we should actually really be taking care of to live a long and happy life. Well, according to research anyways, there's this massive 85-year continuing longitudinal study from Harvard Medical School where they've been following over 200 men since they were sophomores in college, and it now includes their descendants in the study as well. And the purpose of the study was to find out what makes a good life and maybe even decipher a general recipe for success in there. And they have found the quality of our relationships and social connections is the most important factor in determining happiness and longevity. And I know it's hard, and overcoming these barriers to self-care may, include some guilt, but remember, it's not selfish. It is essential to look after you, not just for you, but for your family and for fostering those healthier relationships that lead to a happier, more successful life. And look, you don't need to find like the time for a whole spa day or a trip to the beach or a fishing day or whatever every time you need a break. A quick meditation session on a regular basis can do wonders for your emotional regulation and stress relief. And self-care isn't just about, those usual concepts. When people think of self-care, they think of those spa days and fishing trips and days at the beach and whatever. But really, it's just about taking time for you to slow down and relax, to do something that you enjoy, reading, go for a walk in nature, or whatever it is. Just try to not make it household tasks or grocery shopping without the kids or work. But unless you're lucky and like me and you do what you love for work. I love working with kids. I love writing. I love helping people, and I do all these things for my work. So I get to combine my passions and my relaxation and my stress relief with work as well, which is what finding your ikigai in your life purpose is all about. But once again, subject for another episode. But yeah, just find the thing that you enjoy and that you love to do, and that's what self-care is about. Oh, and FYI, if you hear some coughing in the background, it's because I've got two of my folk home sick from school today, not doing very well. So yeah, it's another thing that I can be really grateful for about making decisions to do the things that I want to do with my life and having that flexibility in my work-life balance that I not only have to go, I don't just have to go out of the house to go somewhere to a workplace to do what I love. I've made a choice to do something for myself where I can do a significant amount of my work at home, which means I have that flexibility to stay home and look after my kids when they're sick. So, there's that with the work-life balancing as well. And now, finally, let's talk tools and tips to help keep you from drowning in the chaos. Building a support system is a hugely beneficial one. Friends, families, neighbors, they're your team, okay? Swap favors. Ask for support. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I know it's hard, and people don't always have that community to fall back on. And some of us have been, so used to doing everything on our own for so long that we don't really know how to ask for help. But no matter what your situation is, there's always ways that you can reach out for help with tasks or support from others. And even if that's just through building better routines and habits in your own household to encourage your kids and your partner to be more active in helping things run smoothly around the place. And technology can also be a game changer. And yeah, I know, everything is new and scary and ever changing. And one day AI will rise up to overthrow all of our jobs and enslave us in an uncanny likeness to a certain movie where we all get terminated. But seriously, the advent of all of these tools can either be viewed as a detriment and something to be wary of and fear, or a blessing. Use productivity apps to keep track of your tasks and reminders. Use digital and online calendars and scheduling programs to allow you to integrate and sync your work and personal schedules to keep track of everything. Use time tracking tools to track how you spend your time. It offers insights into your productivity patterns, and it helps you identify areas where you might be wasting time, like scrolling through Facebook. Okay, this allows you to make adjustments to focus on what truly matters. And then of course there's things like Fitbits and smartwatches that track your steps, and all kinds of wellness apps and online resources to manage your time, to plan, to grow, evolve, to learn, and just to become the best version of yourself so that you can live that happy, peaceful life in flow like we were all meant to do. There are so many things that you can utilize that automate a lot of things in your life. And now, like, I like to write by hand. I like to write things out. I still have a in paper, in person planner to do things. That's how I like to do it. But having these other things as well really, really helps in so many ways, and it really helps save time, which helps you focus on more things that are more important, because that's what having a healthy work-life balance is really all about. The problem with so many people that are overwhelmed and stressed and have so much on their plate is not that you need, so much better time management skills, which is helpful. It's probably more so that you need to, like, get rid of some stuff. You're trying to do too much. You're always trying to do too much that you don't need to do. And while that might be hard to recognize the things that you do need to stop doing, more often than not, there's stuff and you don't realize it. Like with me, I was working full time, I was studying full time, I was doing a volunteer gig, I was um, running my business, trying to push it full time. I was literally trying to do three people's worth of work in one person's life. And I was doing all this, like, oh, I can't stop doing that, and I can't stop doing that. There's literally nothing I can stop doing. I have to be doing all these things. And all it took was a significant mindset shift around what I was doing, how I was doing it, and what was really important to me. And sometimes that's all it takes to significantly shift your entire life and bring yourself into like a perpetual state of ease and flow. And it's just, yeah, it can be really, really beneficial to do that. So that's probably my final tip. But before we go, I just have something else that's really, really helpful for you in navigating this work-life balance thing. And that is two things that are really important for you to remember. Number one is something that I always say when talking about implementing any new strategy or technique, skill or routine, and that is just be patient with yourself and practice what you're implementing and integrate the new systems a little bit over time. New skills and new routines take time to get right and to stick. Secondly, be sure to review and adjust your strategies regularly. If it's not working, tweak it. Balance is an ongoing process, not a one-time achievement. So practice, review, rinse, and repeat, and keep working towards your ultimate state of work-life balance while also knowing that it's a fluctuating thing. Sometimes you'll need to dedicate a bit more time to work, sometimes a bit more to your family, and lo and behold, sometimes a bit of extra time just for you. Like I said, it's okay to let the seesaw slip one way a little bit more at times. Just don't get stuck focusing on one thing more than the other for a prolonged period of time, because that's where the damage is actually done. Okay, so there you have it: work life balance, setting boundaries, managing time, and prioritizing self care. It's a lot to juggle, but with a bit of planning and a sprinkle of awesomeness, I know you can make it work. Just like this crazy, overworked, overstimulated, busy, ADHD brained, working, studying mama did. But remember, the goal is not to obtain perfection, but progress. Always progress. But yeah, thanks so much for being here, for helping me in my mission to change the world one beautiful soul at a time. I really hope you found what you were looking for here in this episode, and that you find my content beneficial and inspiring and, of course, downright witty and awesome like you and I both are. If you did, hit the like button, the subscribe. It not only helps me in my channel, it helps get this content out there to others who need it. And plus, please leave a review on Spotify, share the episode, share the love in whatever way possible. And don't forget, leave a comment. Let me know what was your biggest takeaway from today's episode, what's something you struggle with, and what's something that you do that helps you with work-life balance that really works, because that would be some extra tips for other people as well. Yeah, and yeah, let me know what you want to hear about next, so I know that I am giving you beneficial information that's really going to help you. Oh, and before we go, if you'd really like to supercharge your journey into building better work-life skills, I have a freebie for you that will help you do just that. It's a downloadable PDF planner template to schedule daily tasks and personal time to help you take a structured approach to balancing work and personal life. It will significantly help you with better organization and time management, okay? It's based on my S.M.A.R.T planning method, so it's awesome. It's linked in the show notes below, so don't forget to check that out and get started today on becoming a more peaceful, mindful, and more balanced you. And of course, if you haven't done so already, I'd also like to recommend you check out my new book, which is all about rewiring your mindset and taking action to change your life in just 3 months, which is the average time that it actually takes to rewire your ways of thinking and implement new habits. This is it, the 90 Days to Success Mindset Edition, from survival and stress to thriving in awesomeness. And it's not just the same old boring stuff either. It's witty and fun like me, and I made it quick and to the point, but it's still jam packed with amazing content, and it's based on experience and psychological concepts in a step by step format to help you shift your mindset in 90 days. Plus, it also comes with a free PDF workbook to help you implement the steps in a concrete fashion to take action. Because, like I always say, and not just me, but research says it, it's action that changes your mind. It's not the mind that changes your action, okay? So go and check it out. I'm so appreciating your support and everyone that's buying my book so far. It hit number 2 in one of its categories on Amazon, which was so close to the bestseller. But number 2 is awesome, and I'm so, so grateful for all the people that have bought it so far and are enjoying it. So, yeah, check it out. Check out the freebies. Check out the other episodes to build your skills even further to becoming the most peaceful, conscious you, best version of yourself. And yeah, peace, love, warm fuzzies, and all of that. But most of all, take care of you because you're worth it and you are awesome. I love you. Episode 3, which is all about combating negative thoughts. There's the kitten at the door. I love you. I love you. And I promise you, I'm going to be out here with you.